What's going on, my trainer club? The Stardust event is coming to a close, so I hope you guys have been following my tips. You've been maximizing, and you guys have a bunch of Stardust. So now, what do we do with it to keep our reservoirs up? So, welcome to the trainer club. Here we go! Welcome back, everybody. Drop in the comments and let me know. I want to hear your celebrations, your wins. What did you do for the Stardust event? How much total Stardust did you get? Where did you start at? Where did you finish? Any other celebrations that you want to post, your shinies, your Suicune raids, anything like that, pop them in the comments below. And I just wanted to make sure that I let you guys know. The sooner you comment on my videos, the higher chances you are going to get a response from me. The longer out from the video of when it's published, the chances of you getting a response are going to be a little bit lower because I'm then putting out new videos, right? And I only have so much time in a day. And I do my best to comment to everybody I possibly can. However, there are going to be some that slip through the cracks. Know that it is not you. It is just the fact that I have only a certain amount of time in every single day. And I love and appreciate all of you guys. Thank you so much, my Patreon members, my commenters, and my sharers especially. Thank you guys for sharing all my videos and helping me pump up, because if we continue on the growth that we're at right now, guys, we will be at 100,000 subs by the end of the year, which is absolutely bonkers. I would love to do that, and I can't wait to do that with you guys and celebrate. 50,000, we're gonna have some giveaways. I can't wait for that as well. Today is my last day in Japan. Before I do so, I am going to be editing this on the plane, so I figured I might as well have a wrap up for the Stardust event, because we have now taken my top tips video. If you haven't watched any of my top tips video and you're new to this channel, I'll go ahead and drop it up here. I know that the Stardust event is going to be closing up, but it's definitely something that you want to start expanding and thinking about for the future. We built up our Stardust reservoir, right? We've talked about that. We've built up our reservoir. We are ready to start utilizing and saving some Stardust for when we actually need it. Meaning we're not just carelessly using it on Pokemon that we have that are good. So if you want to see my when do you power up your Pokemon to use and save your Stardust, definitely check that out up here. But today I'm gonna give you some of my reasons and why you should just put the brakes on, and one of my top strategies that I use in Pokemon Go that's gonna help you be successful. So the number one thing that I always recommend is patience. And I know you guys are like gung-ho, ready to evolve your Pokemon. As soon as you get a good one, a good rare, you're like, I gotta evolve it and max it. I talked about that in one of my other videos where I mentioned and recommended not to evolve your rares that have the Community Day potential movesets until December, to make sure that if they have a potential to get it, that you are going to be able to make sure you have it. But for the Stardust, right? Now that we're done, let's say you got 1 million, 2 million Stardust during this event, you only had like 100,000, right? So you're feeling pretty wealthy right now. And the first thing you want to do is go ahead and power up a Pokemon, right? That you just like. And I'm not saying not to do that, but I'm just saying to have a little bit more strategy behind powering up your Pokemon, right? So if you're like, I really want to max out, let's say you got like a 98 shiny Suicune, or you have a 98 regular Rayquaza, or you have a 91% shiny Rayquaza, and you're like, I want to max this. I don't blame you. I have the itch all the time to want to power up Pokemon. However, definitely just don't go and do it, right? So here's a couple things that I don't recommend that you do right away. Number one, power up a Pokemon just because to power up a Pokemon. Check my counter guides, right? We have the Rayquaza out right now, double weak to ice. The only thing that's really the best against him is gonna be that Mamoswine. That's gonna be the number one attacker at level 30, so you don't even have to power it up that much. The most expensive power up is literally gonna come from level 35 to 40 with the amount of dust per power up, right? So if you just get your Pokemon to a level 35, you're gonna be sitting very pretty as long as you don't need to be duoing a legendary, right? So that's pretty good for right there. So don't power your Pokemon up all the way to the top. Number two, don't power up unnecessary Pokemon that are not gonna be in the raid battles, right? So if you have a Rayquaza, dragon attackers are not the most useful right now, so sit on that guy, be patient, right? If you have another one, be patient. Number three, I wanna make sure that if you do have one, let's say you got a lucky shiny Rayquaza, you can power it up for half the amount of Stardust. So if you did like 2.1 million dust, your benchmark is now gonna be for you to save, not go under 2 million dust. You then can use that 100,000 to power up a Rayquaza, but just note that we are going to get a new raid boss. We're not sure exactly what it is. It could be a recycle, we don't know. You may already have the counters, but you may not, on September 2nd, which then means you're gonna have to power up some new Pokemon. So if that 2 million dust reservoir already got used down right to that 2 million mark, you're not gonna have that excess dust to be able to power up a Pokemon. So that is another thing that you do not want to do. And the next thing that I recommend that you don't do is just to unlock a second charge move on a Pokemon that you don't really need it. Like you have this 100% Rayquaza, you're like, I need a second charge move. Why? I question you, why do you need a second charge move on that Pokemon right now? Is it specifically because it's more effective for this raid boss right now? I understand if you have a Mewtwo and you want to use him for his Ice Beam and he has Shadow Ball to unlock a second charge move. But if you had Mamoswines, you don't need Mewtwo's, right? Mamoswines are not that hard to acquire. They're boosted for the Swinub during the sunny weather, so you can acquire one pretty easily, evolve it, and use it right away, right? All you need is a Sinnoh and some candy. Two more things that I want to mention. Number one, I don't really suggest that you guys go gung-ho and just purify a bunch of Pokemon. Number one, I think it's kind of like an unassuming, just underlying amount of dust that you're going to be spending that's just unnecessary. On a constant basis, you're not even going to be realizing how much dust you're actually spending. So if it's 2,000, you do 100, that's 20,000 Stardust. That's a couple power-ups on a lower Mon, right? So pump your brakes on that. Maybe get 50 done and then just hold tight. Like, do you really need 500? If you're I need to complete these badge type player and you have to do it, then do it. Hopefully you have a dust reservoir that sits higher than 2 million to do this, because I don't like being skimped out on Stardust. It's just not a good feeling in Pokemon Go. When a new Pokemon comes out, maybe one that type that we haven't fought before, and you just need completely new counters and you're about looking to spend 1 million Stardust. If you have 1 million, you're at 0. So stay dust wealthy. I promise you it's gonna be one of the biggest assets that you can have in the game. And then my last and final one is don't make unnecessary trades. As a player of 3 years since the beginning, I can promise you that you will get the shiny at some point or another. I know sometimes, like if you did Suicune, you did 20 raids, you didn't get a shiny, you're feeling a little bit upset and emotional. So what's your instinct? It's set to trade for a shiny. And worse is to trade from a random player that just got 5 and you pay 500,000 Stardust. Literally the worst move that you could ever make in Pokemon Go. And I don't say that just to make you feel bad or to feel uneasy. It's literally the worst mistake you can make, because at some point or another, I promise you, these raid bosses will come back out with shiny potentials and you will be able to get them. We've already had Groudon, what, 3 times? Or 4, and we've had Kyogre come back 3 times. We are going to be able to have a chance or a shot at these Raikou, Entei, and Suicune again. So do not get emotional and spend Stardust on silly stuff. Do not spend Stardust after an event happens and you didn't get the shiny. Like I didn't get the Bunny Erie and I'm gonna spend 100,000 Stardust on a trade to get that. Not smart. At some point or another, be patient, it will come to you. And then after that, if you want to trade for it, you can for 800 or 600 Stardust until this event ends, right? We're talking about 2 catches of a Pokemon, 2 or 3 catches compared to like 1,000 catches. It is totally not worth it. Make sure to stay in the emotional right mindset and don't be reactionary when you get upset about not getting it. This is a long-term marathon, not a short-term sprint. Trust me, it will come around to you and you will benefit in the long run if you utilize these Stardust tips. So now I told you everything I don't want you to do with your Stardust. What do I recommend doing? Number 1 is saving it. I'm telling you that dust reservoir is clutch. Number 2, if you hit over your reservoir and you have a little bit extra and you've been wanting to power up a Pokemon a little bit, I suggest doing that just to satisfy yourself. You can always take a lucky Pokemon, and that's why we have the video coming out very soon, my top lucky Pokemon to get, because lucky Pokemon are going to be half the Stardust to power up. You are looking at a difference of 225,000 to about 115,000 Stardust. That is a huge difference, meaning you can power up 2 lucky Pokemon for the price of 1 non-lucky Pokemon. It is literally, combined with Stardust, the 2 biggest assets in the game. Lucky friends, Stardust reservoir. I'm telling you, if you have these 2 things, you are going to be sitting very pretty. You're always going to be on top. You're never going to be trying to sprint to catch up in Pokemon Go. So I wanted to help you guys out. Save your Stardust, be conscious and be secure about just saving it and not powering things up for the sake of just having them sit in your bag. It's just not worth it. There's no reason for you to have a Pokemon sitting in a bag that is maxed out, similar to the analogy that I gave, where if you just go ahead and fill up a tanker 30-gallon truck and you sit it in your garage with brand new gas of 30 gallons for a year. What's the purpose of that? Maybe you need 5 gallons so that the tank doesn't go too low, but you don't need to have a completely full tank and sit it in the garage for a year. Same thing with a Pokemon. You don't need to max it with Stardust that you just worked really hard to get and sit it in your storage, your garage for Pokemon for a year. So that's it, guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I will see you guys out on the next video. We will be back in the United States. I'm sure that I have 1 or 2 more Japan vlogs coming out before we are back in the US fully for my videos and everything like that. I appreciate you guys, my likers, commenters, subscribers. Of course, my sharers, I really appreciate you guys. If you could do me a favor and just share this video and my channel to somebody that needs it, and my Patreon members for being a part of the Trainer Club and supporting me on that next level. So I will see you guys out on the next video. We are back in the US. We have big events coming out, new announcements coming out. I can't wait to help you guys maximize. Peace. I just want to take a moment and sincerely thank all of my Patreon members, everybody that has taken their subscription to the next level and chosen to support me on this platform. I greatly appreciate you guys. As a growing channel and really trying to grow and improve as much as I possibly can, I really appreciate the extra support. You guys mean the absolute world to me. I cannot wait to connect with you soon, and I appreciate you guys all for being a part of the Trainer Club. I will see you guys out on the next video.